And welcome to Sports Betting Illuminated, where we play with the house, not against it. And it is 151st Kentucky Derby. Who's excited? Let's win. Hello, everyone. Hello, LM, Chuck Science, Super Duper James. Welcome in. So nice seeing you, Ken and David. Good morning, Tyler. That's funny, Chuck Science. Good morning, Derek. Oh, well, that's exciting still. So I hope you have fun with that, Super James. Well, I'm really glad you were able to make my stream bright and early this morning. Of course, today is the day of the Kentucky Derby. I am wearing my hat. I have on my little dress, of course, for the Derby, and also some Four Roses as well. So we'll be enjoying some of that later today on the show, and just having a lot of fun in general. But first, I always like to say, I like to sit back, relax, and get my mind right to win some wagers. And because it's Derby Day, I am smoking Red Rose. And this is a new strain for me. But like Idol vibes. Ah, cool. Red Rose is a hybrid weed strain. It's a cross between Citradelic Sunset and Bottle Wash. Pretty interesting. 40% sativa, 60% indica. So if I get a little bit of a couch lock feeling, you guys will know why. But I don't think so, because we're pretty hyped today because it's the Kentucky Derby. I'm doing great, LM. How are you guys doing? How's your weekend going? Starting off your weekend on the right foot with some wins, right? What? Is this like a graphic chart? You'll have to send that to me, David. I want to see it. I would love to see some graphics on this because, you know, I've been going, with a pretty just official, like, I was going to tell you guys later in the show, some Kentucky Derby etiquette, but also some fun ways to celebrate the Kentucky Derby at home with your friends and family and how to have a really good time. So, I know a lot of people are actually going out to Kentucky right now. They're all dressed up to the races. But for the rest of us celebrating at home, I have some fun ideas for you. So we'll break it down. Ooh, that's exciting. He's graduating this year, and he found out. That's funny, Chuck Science. Woo, a little bit of a strong strain. Red rose all day. It is the run for the roses after all. So I have some red roses on my hat. Just thought I would show you guys how elaborate this hat is looking. We have little bows in here, so adorable and precious. Little roses all over the top. Glitter, I know it's a little hard to see, but definitely glitter all over it and underneath. I feel like maybe if I showed like how sparkly it is. But that didn't really work. But yeah, this is my Kentucky Derby look for the day, everyone. Good morning, Besiktas. I don't know if I'm getting it right. I'm totally sorry if I slaughtered the pronunciation of that. I could be getting it completely wrong, so just let me know how to pronounce it. So let's just get some early plays out of the way. I wanted to start with one of my favorite plays today, which is in the NBA. As we know, it's NBA playoffs right now. But does anyone have any opinions on hockey this morning? Because I don't. You know, we've been doing really well with hockey. 2 days ago, we just cashed that plus 150 puck line, puck line play, and that was really good. So if anyone has any opinion on hockey, Derek, I saw you in the audience, Tyler as well, feel free to throw out your plays. I would love to hear all about who you like in hockey today and why. Right now, I agree. That's my opinion as well, Tech Science. You're avoiding betting this game like the plague? Oh my gosh, Derek. Okay, well, I guess it's a good thing I'm staying away as well. Because I just wasn't, I was looking, you know, nothing really seemed to be developing one way or another. Vegas wasn't really taking any positions. They didn't really seem to be, moving the lines too much. You had the Stars. Okay. No one is betting this one. Yeah, I might be staying away from this one as well, but interesting, Tyler. Alrighty. Okay, so let's get started with the NBA. I really only found one play that I really like in this game, and it's the Clippers versus Nuggets game. This is at 7:35 p.m. Eastern tonight. I've seen the Nuggets money line move in a little bit, but it's also getting pushed by some Joe money, which, you know, is a little bit scary to me. It opened up at minus 105, went to minus 118 on mixed money. Then the money line for the Nuggets pushed all the way out to minus 125, but there's a lot of Joes pushing this money line right now, and sitting up minus 125, I'm not personally a fan of this money line. So let's move on to the Nuggets spread. This was kind of interesting because it opened up at plus 1.5 and flipped to minus 1.5 pretty early on. And this was on some Denver money, but it's not really a huge move because this moves through zero. So, you know, on a normal day, I would be saying this Nuggets spread, I would really only give this I mean, even though on the surface it's like, okay, this is a 3-point move on the spread. On a normal day, I would probably, you know, give this a rating of just moving 1 point because it moved through zero. So not as significant as it seems. And I have seen some sharp money on Denver, but not a ton of sharp money. So I'm just kind of waiting, seeing if this develops a little bit here. It's not a strong move. I agree with you 100%, Check Science. It's not a strong move right now because really, like, if this just opened up at -1 and went to -2, I would be saying the same thing, but went from plus 1.5 to minus 1.5, but still for me this is not like a significant move at this point. I'm 26, by the way, LM. So the total is what I'm looking at right now. It opened up at 204.5, went to 207 on level 5 money. I really like this play the best. I think the over is looking really good, and you might even want to do a small ladder here. See, when I was watching this line last night, the sharps had not jumped in yet. Like, they didn't really jump in until 8 o'clock this morning, and I was expecting a little bit of early sharp action. We know that the sharps always jump in and get the best lines early. You know, they're up, they're making the moves, you know, trying to find the best value early on. But what I was not expecting was, in reaction to all of the sharps going towards the over in this game, playing the over, I wasn't expecting Vegas to move this from 204.5 to 207. Like, that's a huge move. And there's also level 5 money backing us up. That is the most significant amount of money, max amount of money and bets on this play right now on the over. So I like it. I really do like this over. So seeing that sudden jump, that's what surprised me a little bit. It was really a fast move for Vegas, moving from 204.5 to 207. The sharps are all over this one. So I like the over here. I think this might even be a safe spot to ladder out. Just bring a little step stool, but we had success yesterday laddering that out. And I think today, you know, if you want to get a little plus money in here, I think that's okay as well. You know, just a little step stool. You might not want to go too crazy, but that was a sharp early move. And with the level 5 money that's currently on the over, I would say it's probably going to keep moving. It looks like it's going to keep moving. So, you know, I would say the ladder is looking a little safe. Yes, it is a bottle of Four Roses in the background. We are going to be doing some derby shots. Are you guys excited for that or what? This is a derby show after all. So let me get my bottle of Four Roses and we'll do a derby shot. Let's go. You guys like Four Roses? I know a lot of people are drinking bourbons of all kinds today, so let me know what your preferred bourbon is in the comments. You guys know I'm more of a cannabis person than a drinker, but you know, sometimes I like to do both. That's why I have my little shot with me. So I guess we're just getting the party started early, and we'll be enjoying some Four Roses. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little half a shot because it's still early in the morning. Plus, I think this is 1.5 versus. Okay, let me put this back and we'll enjoy some Four Roses together. Cheers, everyone. Bottoms up. That has a really nice, like, deep, like, smooth, little bit of a burning sensation, but like really smooth. Four Roses is, you know, my preferred bourbon, definitely. So let me know what yours is, what you like to drink, especially on the Kentucky Derby. A lot of people are going to be out there drinking their mint juleps, of course. So I'm really excited to see that. I'll be making some mint juleps later as well. Now, let's talk about some of these derby traditions. As you guys know, I have not been following the horses as closely this year as I have been in, you know, like last year, for example, mostly because of a time constraint issue. But, you know, I am going to be bringing on an expert on horses later on in the show, on horse racing, horse wagering, all of that. You guys are very familiar with this character, and I'm sure you guys will love hearing from him. So we will do a little phone call, and I will be bringing him on the show for some analysis. Thanks so much, Spencer, and good morning. Thanks for joining me early. I just got done doing a little shot of Four Roses, so we are getting the party started right for the Kentucky Derby. Now, I wanted to talk about some ways that you could really enjoy the Kentucky Derby at home for yourself. Now, if you're having some friends and some family over, what you might want to do would be a little mint julep bar. You could have some fresh mint leaves, and it's really easy to just go to a store, get some fresh mint, even get a plant of mint. I have a mint plant in my home. I love pulling off the fresh mint leaves. You could kind of muddle it up using some crushed ice, bourbon, and simple syrup. That's kind of that. That's all you need. Ice, simple syrup, bourbon, and of course some fresh mint as well. And you can make your own mint juleps. You could have a little mint julep bar for all of your guests. It's a wonderful thing to do. Also, as well, try to incorporate some roses into the theme. You know, the red roses. I have some pink roses on my hat, but roses everywhere. You know, it is the run for the roses. So you want to make sure for your derby party you have roses all over the place. Really incorporate that into the theme, as well as the colors, which are gold and red. You know, you want to pay homage. Of course, have some silvered mint julep cups. That will be a lot of fun as well. And you want to make sure that your guests are dressed for the occasion. So having a wonderful pastel color palette is definitely the way to go. Make sure the hats are on all of your guests because the hats are so important for the Derby. A lot of people go to the Kentucky Derby and the first thing they think about is their hat. And then what comes secondarily to their hat is their outfit. But the hat is key, and there's a lot of different hats that you could wear. You could wear cartwheel hats, which are exaggerated disc silhouettes, and basically they just have very wide brims. They lay on the head at an angle. They look very sculptural, little mystery. There's a lot of drama with all of these cartwheel hats. You have ladylike hats, which have smaller pillbox styles. These are both seen on the runway, but are also very common for street styles. And, you know, they might have some brimless silhouettes, but some pared down establishments as well. You know, you could also think of hats like Grace Kelly in Hollywood and some of her favorite headwear. Very classic, very ladylike, so that's perfect. Grace Kelly, excellent figure to look to for fashion inspiration. And finally, you could go with hats of neutral shades, but a lot of big texture. You know, have a refined palette of ivory, toffee, and mahogany, and really just allow the textured material to take the main stage. So this could be like weave hats or straw hats, but as long as the style and the texture is taking center stage, that is perfect for the Kentucky Derby. So yeah, these are some ways to really have a great Kentucky Derby party at your home with your friends, how to just spice up the celebration in your life if you're not going to Kentucky right now. And a lot of people are not, you know, flying out to Kentucky or driving out to Kentucky. So you could have the celebration in your home. In Vegas, there was one of my favorite coffee shops, Samba Latte. They would always have a big thing for the Kentucky Derby, and everyone would get dressed up and go over there, and you know, you sit outside and you drink maybe your Four Roses bourbon, or you know, maybe you are just having a coffee or some tea, and it's really nice, wonderful time to get together with some friends. Pink makes sense. Pink is a beautiful pastel color. I'm sure people will be wearing a lot of like this shade of pink, which is kind of like light and pastel. I'm wearing white, obviously not a well, kind of a pastel. I mean, it's like a shimmery white, so it will work. It will work for sure. And just, you don't want to wear black. You don't want to wear like dark red. And, you know, winter colors, leave that for winter. It's the start of summer. So put on your best dresses, put on your best suits. You know, for men, you could wear some very nice shoes and yeah, some pastel shirts as well. A little pocket square will be very, very good looking. Thank you so much, LM. I appreciate it. So yeah, men, it's time to get fashionable as well, you know. Don't forget the little pocket squares. It's all about the little details, and I love seeing, I think you could even wear a light gray suit with maybe, you know, like some purple or some green or pastel blue, and that would look excellent on a guy with some interesting prints. So just so you guys know as well, you guys know what to tell your wives and girlfriends, how to dress for the Kentucky Derby. Hello, Super Pro. And let's just have a great time. This is all about a celebration and enjoying the warm weather and having fun, watching horses, and of course, most importantly, winning some wagers. All right, so before we get even deeper into the Kentucky Derby, breaking down all of the horses for today, before I bring my expert on, let's go over Major League Baseball. I have not seen a ton of run lines or money lines develop this morning. Really, my focus early has been on the totals because that's what I've seen the most action on from Vegas moving the lines, and that's also what I've seen the most action on in terms of, you know, sharps and Joes taking positions, but also Vegas has taken positions on some of these totals as well. So very interesting to watch for. Thank you, LM. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk about the Cubs versus Brewers. This is a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern game. And this is really like the one run line that I'm watching today. The Cubs run line opened up at +1.5, -220, went to -1.5, +154 on mixed money. This one I'm watching. So obviously it flipped early, but right now I'm waiting to see where is the buy signal. Is this going to move from +154 to +145 to even +140, +136? Like, let's see how this line moves. And right now there's mixed money, so very balanced action. This was Vegas simply flipping this early on by themselves. So let's see what the sharps do. Let's wait for the Joes and pros to come in and see how Vegas reacts to this a little bit more, but keep your eye on this. Thank you, LM. Keep your eye on this. Keep your eye on the Cubs run line. It's not something I would bet yet, but watch it. Watch it. Now, let's talk about the Astros versus the Chicago White Sox. This is a 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern game, and right now I am watching the under here. This opened up under 8, -105. Then it moved to under 7.5, -104, against all of the money. There's level 5 money on the over right now. Vegas is taking a clear position against the money. They see all of this money on the over, and they basically said, okay, we're going to take a position against the money, move this line under, so I'm not going to follow all of the noise. I'm going to play with the house, and I would say this looks like it's developing into a nice underplay here. Aw, thanks, LM. Don't stop. I love it. I love seeing your messages coming in. It makes my day. Also, I just want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be so amazing. I am just a small creator, so every thumbs up, every follow, like, all of it counts, and I see all of it happening in real time, and it really means the world to me. So I love when you guys do that. I love when you share this with your friends, when you tell other people about it. Word of mouth, like, that's so powerful. And then also make sure to subscribe to my free daily emails where you get to see even more of me, plus my picks of the day, plus pictures of me every day. I know you guys have been loving the daily pictures that I've been putting out in the morning reports, as well as all of my line analysis, the coaching corners, and subscribing to my Substacks as well. I love this. Hey, good morning, Alex. How are you doing? Ready for the Derby? I am. All right, so in a spot in this Astros White Sox game, I like the under just because Vegas is clearly taking a position here. They do not like the over. In fact, they are moving opposite of all of the money, level 5 money. This is the most amount of significant money on the over, and Vegas says, we're going to move this line even lower so we could get even more people going on to the over. We could get even more money on the over. The only reason Vegas would move the line lower to encourage more people betting the over is because they think this game is going to go under and it's going to be massively profitable for Vegas. So, ooh, Yankees run line is starting to catch sparks. All right, we are going to definitely dive into that one. I like it. Now let's cover some of these under the other totals here. Okay, so I said I like the under in the Astros White Sox game. I said I'm waiting on the Cubs run line right now. Now let's look at the Padres versus Pirates. This is a 4 p.m. Eastern game, and right now I'm looking at the over. I think the over is looking very interesting here. It opened up over 9 even money, moved to over 9 minus 121. We know what happens when a total is sitting over 9 minus 121. It's obviously going to be moving up to 9.5. But right now, if you line shop around, because it has not quite yet moved to over 9.5. If you line shop around, you could still find an over 9.5 at plus 110. I've seen it out there, so you could get some nice plus money on this over. So I would go for it. Thanks so much, Super Pro. You know it. I love that you're commenting on both Rumble and YouTube, so thank you so much. Appreciate it. Alrighty, so yeah, I think the over 9.5 at plus 110. Look for it out there right now so you could get some nice plus money instead of taking the over 9 at minus 120. Like, who's gonna do that? Find the plus money, look for over 9.5 plus 110. I guarantee you it's probably still out there. Just line shop around a little bit, but yeah, I like that. I like that. You know what? I don't have an Instagram anymore, LM. I'm sorry, but I do have my free daily emails. I just don't have an Instagram anymore. Instagram has suspended me. TikTok has suspended me, so I don't really post on there anymore. You know, it's because I'm targeted. You know, I've been in the cannabis industry since 2019, so, you know, they've got my digital footprint, and you know, first of all, I'm a cannabis person, but then second of all, I'm a woman looking the way I am, talking about gambling. Even though every dude out there in the world can talk about gambling, for whatever reason, I can't. And they have banned my account so many times. I'm just sick and tired of it, honestly. After working and building up the followers and putting in the time and just having all of that taken from you over and over and over again, it's like a slap in the face by these social media companies, and that's why I'm just like, screw it. I don't need you making money off of me anymore, because every account, like, they're making so much money by collecting your data and information just so that they could arbitrarily take it all away one day. I'm not buying into that system anymore. So I'm not on social media. That's it. You know, you could find me at arielcalista.com. You could join my free daily emails, and you could join my Substacks, Ariel Calista. But I'm done with Meta, seriously, and TikTok as well. They're just they're horrible, seriously. But they do it to every creator all the time. Like, I've seen so many people going viral who, you know, never make $1 off of their posts. So many people who, you know, go viral and then literally have their accounts banned the next day. It's just, it's, I don't know. I just can't I mean, I can relate to all those people because it's like you put a lot of work in and you're the one as a creator building these platforms, and then they basically cut your legs off all the time for anything. So I don't know. Now they're not profiting off of me as a user anymore. They're not stealing my data. They're not selling me ads. They have no way to control me at this point, and I'm done. I don't like social media. That's just how I feel about them. They've screwed me over enough. I have put a lot of work into both. It's true. You know, I mean, even my Instagram account I've had for over 10 years, and they just decided because I'm, you know, giving my March Madness predictions, they could just cut it off and say it's a community violation. I'm violating their community guidelines because it's gambling. And even though literally 5,000 other guys are doing this, I'm getting banned. So thanks so much, Brian. I appreciate it. Loving this little derby look for today. And yeah, I just feel like ready for the Kentucky Derby. Loving this little look. Got my little hat going and got my little 4 roses here. So we're having a good time. Thank you. Thank you so much. Alrighty. Also, I just want to give a big shout out to Brian and Alex who are on Rumble. They have these amazing little like red things next to their name which unlock them access to all of my subscriber only emotes because they're subscribers on Rumble. So thank you so much. I appreciate your support and I appreciate you following along and supporting me as a streamer. I really do. You guys are the best. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for coming to the stream today, and let's do some winning. I'm glad to have a newsletter and Substack as well. Thank goodness. Seriously. Now, let's talk about the Oakland Athletics versus the Miami Marlins. This is a 4:10 p.m. Eastern game. I like it. You are using your... I'm like, what is that? I'm like, what is that emote that I made? It's something... Oh, it's the Parlayamorous emote over on Rumble. I can't wait to get enough subscribers so we can start using emotes across all of these platforms. YouTube, I think I have to get to 500, and Twitch, I think I have to get to 100. So if you guys are on YouTube, on Twitch, please follow along, subscribe to my channel. We're just building up from here. But it only works like if we all follow along, share, give thumbs up, and you know, then we can all use like these fun tools that are out there. That's what I like. I really like the emotes. I'm crazy about them. All right, so Oakland A's versus the Marlins. Let's talk about this total here. It opened up over 8, minus 115. Went to over 8.5, minus 113. And you know what? There is level 5 money on this over right now, which I really like. I like that there's level 5 money on the over. I think it's looking very interesting. I like that this line is moving in the right direction. But what's also interesting to me is even though it moved half of a point, you would have normally expected this to go to over 8, minus 115 to over 8.5, maybe minus 105 or something, but it's sitting at minus 113 right now. So there's level 5 money on it. I like the over here. Hey, supporting Electron, not in Oakland anymore. It's true, they are going to be moving, but yeah, it's interesting following along, especially like in Vegas and seeing how everything's developing. Lots of talk going on right now, so pretty interesting. Now let's look at the Diamondbacks versus Phillies game. This is a 6:05 p.m. Eastern game. Hello, what's your username? No skin in the game. Hello, no skin in the game. Happy Saturday. Welcome in. It's so nice seeing you guys coming in from Rumble. I have a lot of emotes over there. Thank you so much, no skin in the game. I appreciate it. All right, so we're talking about this Diamondbacks versus Phillies game at 6:05. The over is looking really good here. Open over 9, minus 115. Went to over 9.5, minus 118 on level 5 money. That is the most amount of money, most significant amount of money. So I like seeing that move. I like the amount of money that is backing up this move. And of course, I like Vegas moving with all the money. So lock that in. I like that play. Alrighty. So let's talk about Dodgers versus Braves. This is a 7:00 p.m. Eastern game. The total here, the under, is looking very interesting. Now, this wasn't a huge movement, but this was a big movement when you're looking at the odds. It opened up under 8.5 at even money, then went to under 8.5, minus 115 on over money. So this over money is looking a little Joe right now. Vegas adjusted this from even money to minus 115 on the under, even though they haven't moved this line yet. So I like it. I like it at minus 115 right now. And yeah, it is hard getting used to the change, that's for sure. Let's talk about the Dodgers versus Braves game. This one, no, I just talked about it. The Tigers versus Angels game, I mean. This one is really interesting. I like this play a lot. This is a 9:30 p.m. Eastern game. Opened up over 8.5 at even money. Went to over 8.5, minus 119. And this is on mixed money, but I am seeing a lot of sharp pro money come in here, and that's why I like this overplay. It's sitting at minus 119 right now. It opened up at even money, and it's just been moving in the right direction. So I think it's very possible that it's going to move to over 9 very soon, probably within the next few hours. So we'll see, because a lot of sharps are starting to jump in on the over here. So those are all of my baseball plays today. Let's look at the Yankees. Check science throughout the Yankees run line, catching some money. So let's take a look at it and analyze this game before we move on to, of course, the Kentucky Derby. So it's funny, Super James. All right, looking at this Yankees run line. Ooh, catching a lot of money right now. It's sitting minus 1.5 at plus 105. Interesting, but it opens up at minus 1.5 plus 110. So just a slight move, but it's catching level 5 money right now. I think this is going to keep moving, probably hitting even money on this Yankees run line pretty soon. And considering it's getting really close to game time at 1 o'clock, I would say this is looking like something that's developing pretty strongly. Lots of sharp money here. So I thanks for pointing that out, Check Science. It is looking pretty good. I would say right now it's looking like it's developing very nicely. So thanks for pointing out that play. Hell yeah, Tyler. Think it'll cash again today? It's looking like it will. All right. Well, it is Kentucky Derby time. Those are all of my baseball plays. We've covered hockey. We've covered my play in the NBA. Of course, that over is looking so good. And we have so many baseball totals. And of course, I said, just keep your eye on this Cubs run line. Let's see what develops here. let's see what develops here. So now I am going to call one of our favorite sharp, handy horse racing handicapping experts, Chuck Science. Welcome to the show. Let me give you a cell phone call. This might be a little awkward, guys. I hope you guys can hear everything perfectly because I haven't fully tested this system yet, but let's see. I want to hear your plays on who you like for the Kentucky Derby. Phone is ringing.
Hello.
Hi, Chuck Science. Welcome to the Sports Betting Illuminated show.
Hey, Ari. Hey, everybody.
Can you guys hear him okay? Can you guys hear everything? I can turn down... Okay, let me turn down some of the background noise.
Well, I've been known to speak in a high volume, too, so I'm just starting out here, don't forget.
All right, you're just starting out here. Everyone is welcoming you onto the show. They want to know your thoughts on Sandman. Derek is saying, hello, Chuck. We remember him from Smoke the Spread. What a fun time with Chuck Science and Chase, Wolf of Oaklawn last year. We had such a wonderful time, so let's welcome onto the show, and we'd love to hear your breakdown and analysis of all of these horses, who you like for the Derby, and who do you think is going to win?
Okay, well, first, I like Derek better than Sandman. Okay, so
you
asked about Sandman and Derek. Okay, I like Derek better than Sandman.
Oh, well.
But I don't dislike Sandman. Okay, but before we get started here, all right, for any of you who didn't hit the like button either on Rumble or on YouTube here, just bet the 11 horse and hang up, okay? The 11 horse is your horse, all right? Okay, bye-bye, guys. All right, for all of you who stayed beyond, all right, don't bet the 11 horse, okay? The 11 horse is 30 to 1, and in the rain, he's 300 to 1. Okay, this horse literally hides in the back of his stall if there's even humidity in the air. Okay, so they should just scratch him. It's not even fair to run him in the spot. All right.
Yeah.
But that's for all the non-compliant people who don't like to support the show and they just want to be hangers on here, right?
Well, you guys heard it from Chuck Science himself. Please give this show a thumbs up. Please follow along, or else you'll be betting number 11.
But on the flip side, there is a horse in here that really, really, really freaking loves the rain. All right, and everybody gonna think, oh, it's the 7 horse. He's won 4 out of 6 races in the rain. But I do think he likes the rain, obviously. But the horse that really, really, really loves the rain on pedigree is the 20, Owen Almighty. All right.
Owen Almighty.
Now that makes a very interesting race here. Okay, because Ari, you pointed out, I think on another show, that Owen Almighty was liable to take off in the gate, run green, take out part of the outside of the field, etc. He is going to grab this track and even go worse. Okay, he's going to grab this track and take out more horses now. Okay, I wouldn't bet him anywhere near the end of this race, but he does love a wet track. And he's going to grab this track early, and he's going to probably wipe out the 19, the 18, the 16, the 15, the 14, the 13, the 12, the 11, the 9. I mean, he's probably going to wipe horses right down.
Oh, my God. Okay, so guys, just so you know, we're predicting that the number 20 horse, Owen Almighty, is going to wipe out, just based off of his running style, number 19, Chunk of Gold, number 18, Sovereignty, number 17,
No, leave 17 out of it.
Leave 17 out of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Coal Battle, number 16, number 15, Render Judgment, number 14, Tis-tastic, number 13, Publisher, number 12, East Avenue, number 11, Flying Mohawk, and you said potentially number 9, Burnham Square?
Yeah, he's a clunker. Burnham Square, I know you liked him a little bit early on, but I'm not a big fan. I mean, he'll improve through the race. So he probably won't get taken out because he's going to be taken out by himself anyway. But he's going to have a lot of traffic, and I'm going to call him one of the horses that get taken out. Anything outside the 9, with the exception of the 21, which is Baeza, and the 17 Sandman, are probably going to get affected early on. All right, that's my guess, especially with a track that this horse can get a hold of. All right, and Castellana, great jockey, not the strongest guy in the world anymore. Brian Lynch, great trainer, but this horse has a tendency to run green as hell. And he's been running on sandy tracks like Tampa. And once he gets into a track he can really grab here, he's just going to wipe these horses out. But, sadly, what's his face? Flavian Pratt on Baeza, he's going to really get a trip here. Because he can follow Owen Almighty on the outside and move in as he wipes out horses. Because he's got a little bit of a, he's not a super speed horse, but he's got a lick of speed. He's got one gear. I mean, this horse has got one gear, but it's fast gear. Okay? So he is going to benefit. And Flavian Pratt is a very smart jockey, a very solid jockey. He is going to get the trip of a lifetime here on the outside, no mud. He's not even going to flip off his glasses probably during this race, Baeza. All right.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, we've been watching Flavian Pratt for a long time, and Flavian Pratt wasn't even riding this horse originally. I mean, this all just changed.
So you take a horse like Sandman. All right, and people are asking, Tyler, I think, asked about Sandman. Okay, Sandman, the jockey here, Jose Ortiz, great jockey, no question about it. But he's probably going to be flipping through 7 different pairs of goggles during this race. All right, jockeys will wear multiple pairs of goggles and just flip them down onto their neck during the races. Sandman Ortiz will probably, by the time this race is over, probably have 5 to 7 pairs of goggles around his throat. Baeza will have none. He'll look like he just took a ride in the English countryside. Okay, so I kind of like that. And the reason I didn't throw Sandman out is because he's going to start out slow and just start picking up his speed. So he's another one that's going to follow the mess. But he doesn't quite have the lick of speed, I don't think, especially on this track. Although Sandman likes the mud, all right? I mean, he's never run in the mud, but he's a tappet out of a distorted humor dam. He's gonna like the mud. Tyler, don't get off of him. He's probably gonna get a piece of this thing. Baeza probably gonna get a piece of it. But I'm going to go, I haven't looked at what the Wolf of Oaklawn's doing here.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing he's going to be on one of these Japanese horses because that's just who he is. He's not drinking mint juleps. He's drinking Lotus Blossom tea or green tea or some crazy shit right now. All right? I guarantee he's not drinking mint juleps because he likes these overseas horses that come in and da-da-da. I kind of believe Luxor Cafe is the better choice versus Admire Daytona. But what the hell do we know about Japanese horses? I mean, really, I have no idea. I've seen a couple of races. Luxor Cafe is an explosive son of a gun.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's interesting about this number 7 Luxor Cafe is this horse is always running in the mud, and it does look like there's going to be some rain. I mean, even if the track is fast, it's still going to get a little crappy.
Absolutely. I mean, rain. The thing that people don't understand, Ari and everybody, is rain is not rain. Okay. When rain hits a racetrack, a number of different things can happen. All right, depending on how the track was prepped, before the races, how deep the cushion is, whether they seal it or not. Rain is not rain. Sometimes, horses who don't like deep, muddy, mucky, cuppy racetracks, that's the type of horse that I stay away from in the rain. But those horses can run again over a hard track where they can hear their hooves. All right, even if there is, water floating on the top of it. I joked about the 11 or the 13, whatever the hell it was, coming into this.
The 11, Flying Mohawk.
Yeah, 11, the Flying Mohawk. I joked about him. Well, he can't run in anything. All right, this is a horse who'll pull his own shoes off in the stall when it starts raining.
Yeah, okay, this horse doesn't even look very fast.
And he's being ridden by Joseph Ramos, and okay, I get it. You know, he won the Jeff Ruby Stakes in Kentucky, but I don't know. That's no pedigree here. He took blinkers off. He should take the race off. Okay, so there's no way you play this horse. But I'm going with Luxor Cafe here, to be honest with you. And I couldn't see myself doing this. I was all over the horse you were over, Rodriguez. All over this horse.
Yeah, Rodriguez was looking like a good horse. Too bad he got scratched.
Well, you know, he had a tough kind of race looking at him in the face because of these, you know, one of his stablemates, Citizen Bull. I mean, Citizen Bull and Neo Equios. I don't like Citizen Bull at all in here. I mean, I really don't like this horse, and I can't believe I'm saying that about a Baffert horse who's coming back to the Derby after 3 years. I mean, there's no way Baffert doesn't win this race. I mean, in my mind, there's no way this guy runs a horse and doesn't win this race. But I don't see this horse winning.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, everything I know about Baffert, everything, and I've known him forever since he was quarter horse training, you know, in Arizona. I'm telling you, there's no way this guy does not win this race. However, I don't think this horse can win. And unless they put a saddle on Baffert and let the horse ride Baffert, then Baffert might win. But I don't see, you know, it happening with Citizen Bull. So I'm throwing the horse out. I think Neo Equios is actually a better play with Sappy Joseph, you know. I mean, but, you know, he put a good Gulfstream rider on it after you know, Pratt's, you know, first call on the outside horse on Baeza. But I'll tell you what, I don't like the first two. I don't like the third horse. The fourth horse is Scratch. American Promise. This is a nice horse.
It is a nice horse. I was originally looking at, you know, Rodriguez and American Promise at the same time last show. I
just don't think he's got enough kick to be there at the very end. He may clunk up for third or fourth here, but I just with this pace, with this whole race, I don't know. I'm going with Luxor Cafe. Now, journalism, there's absolutely nothing wrong about this horse. I mean, this is a nice racehorse, and he's a nice Derby horse, and he's nice this. But let's look at one single thing. If you look at the racing form, and I know a lot of people don't like reading the racing form because it's a bunch of numbers, but if you go over to the furthest column to the right you can go to, and you look down at the number of horses in the races, all right, journalism, 5 horses, including him, 5 horses, including him, 5 horses, including him. All right, this horse basically has been dancing by himself. And he has no idea how to run against a race with 19 charging horses. And honestly, although journalism is probably the most gifted racehorse in the group, I am going to say that at the price he's going to be today, which is probably 2 to 1 or less, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Not because I don't think he's going to hit the board. I think he will. Not because I don't think he's the most talented horse in the field. I think he is. I just don't like the fact that he's been running against 5 horses, and he's a middle-of-the-pack horse who likes to fire. So I'll tell you what, Umberto Rispoli, he's really got, I mean, the Italian jockey colony is good now. I mean, this is not a bad jockey colony in the U.S. So Rispoli's no joke, right? He can ride a horse. He's a good jockey.
He is a good jockey.
But he's not Flavian Pratt. He's not Irad Ortiz. He's good, though. He's good. Mm-hmm. But is the horse who's only, this horse, he's been running alone. Journalism. Now, you go to every other horse in this race, and most of them, other than the 5 horse, have been running against 6 horses, 5 horses, 7 horses, except for the Japanese horses. You go to Luxor Cafe and look at that last line. 11 horses, 10 horses, 14 horses, 18 horses, 14 horses, 12 horses. Mm-hmm. This guy has been running in parades. Okay?
Yeah, so he knows how to navigate the traffic.
He's used to getting slammed, bashed, cut off. He's used to getting noses up his ass. He's used to everything. Yet he's got no trouble lines. This horse has got a GPS to stay out of trouble. I don't know anything about the trainer. I don't know anything about the jockey, but I do know the horse has run 4 times over 6. He's one of the top 2 or 3 fastest horses in the race, and he's been running against about 18 horses, 16 horses, 14 horses, 12 horses. That's a big damn deal.
And I would say, compared to these horses that have only run like 5 against 5 other horses or 6 other horses, like a lot of these horses do struggle in the Kentucky Derby getting around all of the traffic. It gets very congested.
It's a terrible race. It's a terrible race.
And I think a lot of these horses, in my opinion, don't really even deserve to be in this race. Like, they got into this race. Sure, I mean, they could race in this race, but, like, are they really the caliber of horse for this race? That's what I wonder. Like, what do you think?
No.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, the Kentucky Derby is. I mean, during the Preakness is going to be 6 horses, 7 horses. I mean, it happens every year. The Preakness has 6 or 7 horses. The Derby has 20. Okay, so the difference between this race and the next one. There's a lot of horses that don't belong in the Derby race. Giving the horse 20 horses in the Derby was a terrible idea. They should limit it to 12, maybe 14 at the most. You would just have way too much traffic. The best horse rarely wins. I mean, we hit Mystic Dan last year at $30. Had a nice exact, had the nice triple. Made a lot of money. Wasn't the best Derby of my life, but made a lot of money. That horse wasn't the best horse. No way. I just saw the trip he was going to have. And I figured there's a good chance that he's going to be there at the end. He's going to duck to the inside. You're going to That might not be the move today with all the mud in the track. Right? That inside might be jumping into a sewer. All right. You just don't know until you see how the track's playing. And even between the race before the Derby and that race, there's like an hour and 20 minutes. A lot of stuff can happen to a track in an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, we really can. So a lot of this is going to be, I'm going to look at the horse's, body, physicality, and feet, as best I can. Probably on this track, you want a slightly larger hoof, something that looks more like a pie plate than a dagger that's going to stick into the ground.
So watch these horses, everyone. Watch them on TV carefully.
Best horse in the rain was the 19th. Without question, he's the best horse in the rain. But that just means he's going to destroy a lot of other horses. He moves up. He moves up 5 furlongs in the rain. All right. This is a payday for this horse. Is he good enough to get 4th in here? I don't know. But either way, he could get a payday here.
Are you talking about number 19, Chunk of Gold?
Or no, what's the horse that 18? Was it 18? I'm sorry. I don't have my form in front of me. I'm trying to remember. Oh, 20, Owen Almighty. I'm sorry. He's the best horse, Owen Almighty, in terms of the rain. All right, without question. He is the best horse in the rain. All right. But that doesn't mean he's going to win the race. It just means he's going to move up the most in this race.
After causing some trouble.
Well, he's he might even get taken down. I mean, this horse, once he grabs a hold of that track, sees all those horses, wants to go to the lead. A lot of these horses, instead of running forward, they run to the left. I mean, imagine playing golf. A lot of times you swing or kicking, ball just go to the left. Well, guess what? So do horses. When they break from the gate, the outside horses can certainly go to the left as easy as they go to the right. And I don't see this horse going to the right. I see this horse going to the left because the jockey isn't going to steer him to the outside of 20 horses. He's going to be steering him to the inside. And there's just no way Castellano's going to get a grip on this horse coming out of the gate if he really takes off. Those first 5 or 6 seconds, that horse is what Castellano's, like trying to grab hold of him to save his life. This horse is liable to be taking out everybody. It's just a guess. But I agree with you, Ari. I think you hit on the right idea that this horse is going to take out a lot of horses. And that means I'm not playing. I mean, maybe Sandman can clunk up for 3rd or 4th, and I would use him far under. 21 isn't going to be affected that much. I would use him, but I'm going to play 7 on top. The more I'm talking to myself, the more I'm thinking this out. In fact, I don't even give a damn about an exacta. I'm going to play the 7 on top of, right now, the 7 on top of the, yeah, this is what you do. You play, you go for the gusto here. You might as well cash a $10,000 ticket, all right? For a dime, right? I mean, I'm going to throw the 7 on top of 4 horses for the super. I'm throwing them on top of the 5-horse American Promise, the 8-horse Journalism, the 17-horse Sandman, and the 21-horse Baeza.
Okay.
And I'm gonna move Baeza up a little bit, probably into the top 3. I don't think he's gonna run 4th here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna kind of shade the better horses up front. But I think you can probably get a $5,000 or $10,000 ticket here for a dime on the superfecta in this race. So that's where I'm going.
I think Baeza, he might be able to. I mean, even though he's not in an advantageous post, I would say Baeza, might be able to get around some of the trouble that, this Owen Almighty horse is causing.
Yeah, he's just gonna. If Eric was on the show, he would be talking about drafting in NASCAR and Flavian Pratt, and I mean, this horse is made for Eric. Okay, somebody needs to call him and tell him that this horse for 2nd or 3rd. All right, but this horse is made for him because he's going to draft like a NASCAR horse, and he's got Flavian Pratt, and he's a super long shot. And
I know Eric loves Flavian Pratt, so.
But I'm going, again, I can't believe I'm doing this because a month ago, this horse was running in Japan, Luxor Cafe, okay, a month ago. Now, he had to get on a plane and a rickshaw, something, and get the hell over here, okay, and train over this track and be 100% fit. If I look at him and he doesn't look cut up, and I'm not going anywhere near him, so I could back off of him in an instant. What do you look for? I mean, people ask me, what do you look for? I look for a horse that when he hits the track, I want him to, he doesn't have to separate from the pony, but in this race, I prefer to see him separate from the pony after they get out onto the track. I want to see a horse that has his neck bowed, all right? A neck bowed. Remember Jason Worth's horse last year with his neck bowed. Unfortunately, he's got the horse that hates the mud in here. And although, I like Jason and I like, one of his big partners in horse racing, Richie Averill, is a good acquaintance of mine from Florida, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can't root for this horse because the horse doesn't belong in the damn race when it's raining. All right. But, last year, Worth's horse showed on the track, he looked like $1 million, if you remember that. That was I think it was the Preakness. And we pounded that or whatever. I don't remember the race. But in any event, I think that, you really got to use your eyeballs. I want to look for a horse that is bending his neck like Major League, almost trying to stick his forehead into the dirt. I wouldn't mind seeing him start to goose step like a Prussian, soldier would in the old movies. Remember the old German movies where they walk like, boom, 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 boom. All right, you see a horse walk, that starts to canter like that, where they look like a German or Prussian soldier. That horse is telling you, I may not win this race, but I am feeling amazing. All right.
Mm-hmm. You want to know when the horse is feeling
amazing. Okay. It doesn't matter how good I feel. If I'm up against a superior opponent, he's going to destroy me. But I would much rather go into that fight feeling my best, not my worst. Okay. So again, the appearance isn't everything. But I'm looking for Luxor Cafe to give me an appearance. If he looks washed out on that track, he doesn't look like he's got creases in his ass muscles. If you look at the back of their asses as they jog off, you ought to be able to literally stick your lunch in the ass crease, between their tail and the fat part of the back of their leg for everybody who doesn't know horses. Okay, you ought to be able to stick your hand in there for a horse that's really ready to crack 1.25 miles at this time of year. And I don't know, if you see that with Luxor Cafe, then just bet. Like, that's the time where you always have to bet responsibly, but bet the upper level of responsibility there. I prefer to bet more on less things than less things on more. You know what I mean? It's a better strategy, I think. In this spot, I'm not in love with this Kentucky Derby race. I loved it a lot more with Rodriguez in it. But I think that we play Luxor Cafe on top of those horses. And, whoever you guys like, flip them on top of Luxor, put Luxor there, whatever. If Luxor looks like a piece of crap before the race, if he's nuzzling the pony next to him, I hate I will sell a racehorse.
We don't like
who
nuzzlers.
Goes out on the track and nuzzles a pony. I will sell him.
Super James said never cram your lunch in a horse's ass.
That's the only way I can eat on Kentucky Derby Day. Other people have mint juleps. I have a hot dog from a horse's ass. That's my Kentucky Derby treat, and it's done pretty well for me, And ultimately, I would love to see I would love to see a 1-5 exacta. A 1-5 exacta box. I would even lose my money to see a 1-5 exacta box and see Wayne Lucas and
Wayne Lucas and Baffert
win again, because they literally cashed me the largest bet of my life. Okay. And it was a complete and utter accident, which is wonderful. You know what I mean? Like you used to say, money won is better than, money earned. And I do believe that's true. But money won by accident is even better. All right. And I'll tell you what, the biggest bet of my life was an accident. So I'm going to say that I would love to see that happen again, just to celebrate that old occurrence where they ran 1-2 in the Derby and the exacta paid over $1,000 for $1. But I think that's not going to happen this year. I think it could have happened if the 4-horse stayed in the race.
Yeah.
And I would have bet with both fists on that exact, because I'll tell you what, I owe it.
Too bad.
It does not owe me.
Yeah, too bad that Rodriguez had like a foot bruise.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you got to take again. Everybody wants to say Baffert doesn't care as much about his horses. And that's not true. Baffert loves his horses. He takes excellent care of them. You spend a lot of money when you go with Baffert. I wouldn't use him as a trainer because I don't like my horses being drilled to death as babies. All right. I don't think that's good for a horse. However, that doesn't mean that he doesn't care for his horses. His training techniques just aren't what I think are best for the horse. But he could be right and I could be wrong. Right? He's Bob Baffert. I'm a piece of shit. All right. So, literally, I'm just not going to, give him $1 million baby to bust up his knees. It's easy to say, well, Baffert always has the best horses. Of course he does, because he has the 10 best, the 20 best, the 30 best. So it's not hard when you get the 20 best horses to literally have the 2 of the best ones at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, is that hard if you have the 20 best to begin? No. And that, so there's a little bit, it's great to be a Todd Pletcher, who I don't think could hold Baffert's socks on his best day. All right. Pletcher, he doesn't, useless human on the racetrack compared to Baffert and many other trainers, but he's got a wonderful reputation because he's got guys like Mike, who, as you see from the TV show, he's willing to spend tens of millions of dollars on horses.
Yeah.
If I spent tens of millions of dollars on horses, number one, I would probably be in some padded room. But number two, literally, I would expect to be in the Derby every year with 2 of the better horses. I wouldn't be expecting to be
every single year, I'm sure.
To be losing a mid-level runner due to vet telling me I had a cracked hoof. Why the hell has a vet got to tell me I got a cracked hoof? I mean, scratch the horse. Why make a vet scratch 24 hours out? That's ridiculous. It's just bad. To me, it's bad management. I wouldn't allow it. But, that's where I'm going today. And Derek, just as an aside, because this is as important as racing, I gave Ari my little testimonial, and she's going to put it in her morning report or afternoon report or whatever the heck it's called now. She's going to put that in. And if it seems a little commercial, so to speak, what I'm saying, I would say it is a damn commercial, okay? Because you got to listen to Gardasil commercials and hair gel commercials and orange juice commercials all day long. You might as well get a commercial over something that really is freaking good. So if it's if what I said seems a bit commercially, it is, but it is real, and it is literally life-changing. And I use this with horses. I use this with humans. I use this with dogs. I mean, if I wanted my carpenter bees to be happy, I'd shoot far infrared at them, all right? So I promised last week I would give you my recent testimonial, which is one of the more bizarre things that have ever happened to me. And if it sounds a little commercial, it is, all right? Because people need to hear the real deal. It is not dramatic or overblown. It was a funny high moment, but it really is the truth. And anybody out there listening, if you have many, many, many different types of aches and pains, one of the best things, or illnesses or conditions of any kind, one of the best things for people to do is look at far infrared therapy. And that's one of Ari's pet projects. She owns a great company that hopefully will get to 20, 30, 40 million this year in sales. It's a great thing. She's got the jewelry that she owns that's far infrared. I mean, she's a far infrared girl, and you guys really need to pay attention to that. So today's Health Corner or something is my testimonial that I promised you last year. But I know, Derek, you are a far infrared person, so I wanted you to have the benefit of this, because there's no
Derek,
BS in
you got
this,
some far infrared for your mom.
But when you read it, we'll sound a little commercially.
Yeah, Mother's Day is right around the corner, so don't forget, everyone, if you want something custom for your mom or your grandmother, whoever, your wife, whoever is important in your life, make sure to hit me up.
How about your own self? All right?
Or how about
if
yourself?
Anybody out there doesn't have like serious aches and pains and issues going on, then you're probably 19 years old and don't listen to me. But anybody who's dealing with things, including, like a lot of things, like anxiety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I'm telling you, far infrared is the bomb. And it had such an effect on something that's been plaguing me for 35 years or more, that I just had to write about it, because, testimony, I could ask 10 people for testimonials, and I would get 2 out of 10 telling me that they got great effects from sticking their hand on a hot plate, okay? I mean, testimonials are only so good. I don't always believe testimonials. I consider the source of the testimonial, because you can get a testimonial on anything. However, that being said, this is not my first time around the barn with things, all right? And I'll tell you what, you really need to discover for yourself, either through Ari, or if you want to write me, I'd be happy to help you. Whatever it is plaguing you, if you want to know a far infrared fix, all right, that has a likelihood of helping, then let one of us know, and we can help you. I'm a firm believer in far infrared, and I think that Ari's work in far infrared is as good as anyone's out there right now. So if you don't belong to Substack, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, can't you read? I mean, if you can read, you should be on Substack.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to spend an hour scrolling Instagram, but not 1 minute reading Substack? What are you, functionally illiterate? Like, get on to Substack and start reading. You want to read about mutters in the Kentucky Derby, go read Jennifer Tidwell, or whatever the heck her name is. Go read her thing. It's called Hawksthorne Bloodstock, Jessica Tugwell. Go read her thing. on all the horses in the Kentucky Derby, because she's right. I mean, she's a, I don't know her at all. I wouldn't know her if I tripped over her. But what she did an excellent Substack, which is absolutely true. She pegged the horse that likes the mud. She pegged the horse that hates the mud. She pegged all the horses in the middle. I mean, if you're not reading that, what's wrong with you? You're wondering. You're asking yourself the question, is this horse good in the mud? And then you're going to what? Go to Instagram and listen to some joker who doesn't know his ass from third base tell you something about this horse in 15 seconds so he can get a click? No, go read Hawksthorne Bloodstock. Read Ari's Sports Betting Illuminated, her Relax, her Far. She does 3 Substacks. 3! Come on.
It's true. I do 3 Substacks like almost every day. The Daily Report, but it's like an extension of the Daily Report. The Full Spectrum blog it's in Relax on is talking all about Par for Red.
And that's not a commercial either, because I read them. And if you don't believe I read them, then go look at the comments, because I normally comment on all of them because they're all damn good. All right, so like.
Yeah, and you could find Chuck's Substack, Chuck Science on Substack, but you could go look in my comments on Ariel Calista on Substack, and he's right there.
And I don't write Substacks because I don't care to be telling people things, but I do care to read what people tell me who have intelligence, all right? Mm-hmm. And maybe that's not fair of me. I want to learn all I can and not give anything up, or maybe that's the case. I don't know. But either way, I'm telling you, Substack is where you go to get the information and where you go to get competitive. It is not Instagram. It is not TikTok.
That's why I like it so much better.
Bunch of TikToks for the Kentucky Derby. I went out and rated them. I sat on TikTok for 30 minutes while I was actually in the sauna that you sent me. Mm-hmm. I looked at 30 I think it was 32 TikToks over a 30-minute period. And I rated them all. I didn't find one that was above a C+. Okay, one that was above a C+. I've read 3 Substacks, and the worst was a B+. Okay, so I don't know. You want to waste your time? Then stay on Instagram and TikTok. And oh my God, I'm not even going to go into Discord and that kind of shit. All those people think they're the geniuses of the world, and I don't think that they could put one domino on top of another. But I'm not. I'm saying get on Substack, read the stuff, learn the stuff. Her Substacks are amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. But I'm not a guy that writes a lot on there. I'm just a guy who reads it.
Yeah, well, that's cool too. And Tyler's on Substack as well, so go give him a follow. But you guys can check out all of the different articles I'm subscribed to, that Chuck's subscribed to, Tyler's subscribed to. All of
Tyler, I'm not blowing Sandman out. I will be surprised if he wins. Okay? Mm-hmm. I will be surprised if he wins, Tyler, but I will not be surprised if he hits the top 4.
Okay.
All right, but I'm not tossing the horse. And he could win. I mean, the Kentucky Derby is not a predictive horse race. It's a horse race where anything can happen. I mean, you put 20 children. I mean, a 3-year-old horse is not full grown. Okay, a 3-year-old, this horse is about let's consider it maybe a 16-year-old kid. Okay, you put a bunch of 14 to 16-year-old kids and tell them to go run at something. They're all going to be crashing into each other, knocking each other down, cutting each other. That's horse racing. Okay. These aren't these horses have 4, 3, 5 races. You don't learn how to be a racehorse then. You're green in the field. It's called what's green. All right. You run green. And these horses are green as green
especially
can
number
get.
20.
Except I like these horses coming from Japan who never seem to get into trouble. And I don't know if that's because the jockeys bow to the horse next to them and pull back. I mean, I can't believe that. I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's not like the Japanese culture where it's all thank you very much. No, they're still riding competitively. I gotta believe that. All right, they're not giving each other ground, but they're never getting into trouble. So these horses have figured it out, running against bigger fields. And if I gotta go in this race in the muck with horses that have figured it out against bigger fields that are super fast anyway, I hate 32 days across 24 hours of flying. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it coming from
I felt the
Europe
same
in a
way. I
month.
mean, last year on Smoke the Stakes, you guys always knew, like, this horse just traveled. Like, I'm not going to bet on
And,
this
you know,
horse.
and it was a running joke between the Wolf of Oaklawn and I, you know, who's a great handicapper, by the way.
He is.
You ought to go seek him out. I haven't done it yet. I will before the race, I promise.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet because I think Chase is a smart dude. Mm-hmm. And until I come to my conclusion on what I wanted to do, I didn't want to look at his because smart dudes influence me. You know, just like I'll listen to Tyler about a WNBA game or Derek about a hockey game or you about a run line. I mean, you know, there's people who you should listen to. And there's most people who you shouldn't. Okay. In this particular case, I believe that there's valid opinions out there, you know, and there's invalid opinions. But Chase is a super valid opinion, and I just always joke with him about liking the European horses and the Japanese horses and everything, because in talking to him and having him on you guys on our show last year, and you and having him on your show in the morning. I gotta say that the guy knows his stuff. He's as good as anybody, in my opinion. He's way better than these idiot personalities that are on Instagram and you know,
yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like on Instagram, on TikTok, you have a lot of people like just, I don't know, like they all just try to be flashy or something. You know, they all got these like they buy stacks of fake money just to like throw it around. It's not even real money. It's like,
yeah, well, you
I'm
know
gonna
that
buy
game.
pieces of paper that look like real money, and it's like I've been around enough influencers in my life, and California and Vegas and both. I know how the game goes.
Well, you went to school with a bunch of
Vegas
gambling influencers who are idiots and throw millions of dollars around.
Yeah, or they just don't make like good gambling decisions.
No. I mean, it's one thing to put $1 million on the counter on a bet that's going to earn you $20,000 back, and then call yourself a professional gambler.
Yeah,
right?
Like really.
That's one way of doing it, which you've got friends that you went to school with that do that a lot out there in Vegas.
Yeah.
One or two.
But to me, I'm like, I'm not gonna play the minus 5,000 money line.
No, I mean, I don't think I've seen you play anything beyond minus 125 in a year.
Yeah, because truthfully, at the end of the day, like the upside versus the downside, like what could happen is you lose the $1 million. Like, sure, maybe you can make $20,000, you know, by placing $1 million on a bet, but you could very well lose the entire $1 million.
In horse racing, it's called bridge jumping, and there's a reason.
Yeah.
You know, you can make your dime on $2 5 straight times, and you've made 50 cents. But once you lost that $2, you're down $1.50. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden now, because you literally, it wasn't $2 you were betting $100,000 or 50 grand or whatever. All of a sudden, that's all your money, and it's time for you to jump off the bridge.
Yeah,
that's what people were doing.
Like, we definitely don't want people doing that. That's why we're teaching smart gambling techniques and effective bankroll management.
And that's why it's called bridge jumping,
and how to look at
they're stupid bets. But everybody have a great derby.
Okay, wait, before you go, let's just, I saw Douglas in here. He was wondering, what horses do we play? He was looking at the 7, 5, 8, 17, and 21. I know we are looking at the 21 horse, the 17 horse. You know, I still think that number 8 is good, but, you know, it could be a little shaky because he didn't run against a lot of horses in his past. California, not, you know, running against maybe 5 other horses. Luxor Cafe is the one that we've been talking about. The horse that looks really good, but we've also been talking about American Promise too. So before we even see these horses, we haven't seen them on television yet. Right now, how would you play this? Just not, you know, sight unseen.
Triple key 7 over the 5, 8, 21.
Okay, you heard it. Unseen. Triple key 7 over the 5, 8, 21.
Okay, that costs you for $1 triple key for every $1 you play. On that, it costs you $6. Okay. All right. What will it pay if it hits? that particular combination, depending on whether or not journalism's in there, et cetera, it could probably pay anywhere between, I would say, a low of maybe $400 for a dollar to a high of maybe, depending if journalism runs out, maybe several grand for sure. Okay, so, it's not a bad bet, put it that way. The probabilities are never in your favor, betting a triple at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, it's
but
hard.
if you hit it, you make more money than if you played it on a Thursday afternoon at similar odds. Okay,
Way more.
Add a zero to what you would make on a Thursday afternoon. So it's worth it to take a shot. When you get a bunch of public money into betting on sports, it becomes a mired mess because the public's running in there and just throwing money. It's very hard to see what Vegas is doing when you have a bunch of public money. When you have a bunch of public money in horse racing, it's the greatest gift of all time, because what would normally pay $5 may pay $9. I tell the famous story that I've become known for over the years when there was I ran a horse, the race after the Kentucky Derby, which was always the final race of the day. And I literally entered a horse in the race that had it was like called Run for the Roses or some silly Kentucky Derby name. And every human being had a bet on that race. They had to bet on that horse. The horse didn't have a Chinaman's chance in hell, but everybody had a bet on it. And I absolutely loved another horse that wasn't even my horse in the race, but I had to enter this horse because I knew it was going to happen. And you know what? I bet the hell out of this other horse. The other horse won, and instead of paying probably about $720, $740, what he should, he paid $14.80.
Wow.
Okay, and it was, the public is great. Betting into days like this is wonderful. Yeah. Because it's pari-mutuel betting, and it's wonderful. And everybody cries about these syndicates betting and all this other crap. You know what? If you're smart, you're not afraid of some Korean syndicate betting against you. I don't give a damn what the Korean syndicate is betting on. I don't give a damn about their numbers. I know as much as them. I don't care if a horse is 3-1 when I bet him right before the race and he flashes down to 3-5, because on other times I got a horse that's even money in the race and all of a sudden pops up to 3-1. I don't care. That's a bunch of BS. I don't know what's happening there.
Oh, I don't know. Just got a little bit of a FaceTime call from
I don't know. I'm not even holding my phone. It just starts calling people. Oh, well, that's life, but I guess it wanted me to hang up. My phone's sitting on the table and just randomly starts calling me. That's funny.
Oh,
well. In any event, that always happens with this phone. I think I need a new one. In any event, great talking to everybody. I would hope that we're at least as close as we were last year, which means you got a $30 winner. Luxor will probably be in that same, area if he wins. But again, wait and see what Chase has to say. I don't think Ari does any videos anymore. But so you won't know her latest thoughts. But I guess right before the race, if you're wondering what she's thinking, I'll tell you to bother her. And maybe she'll tell you. But in any event, good luck, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day and enjoy the race and enjoy baseball and go Yankees.
Yeah, go Yankees. Thanks so much for coming to the show, Chuck Science. Talk to you soon.
All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, that was so great. We got some real Kentucky Derby insights here. I am definitely feeling ready. I hope you guys are feeling prepared as well. Yeah, so now we're going to be watching the track, seeing how this storm develops. We're going to be watching these horses. We know the bowed necks and no nuzzling the ponies. So now we have some real good insights on what to watch for, even just looking at the horse's feet and telling the difference between the horse's feet and Luxor Cafe. This is looking really like a good horse, and you know, if Czech Science is right, I mean, this could be the first Japanese horse to win the Kentucky Derby, which is going to be amazing. And you know, I've known Chuck Science for a while. He really doesn't like betting on these horses who have just traveled across the world, but you know, this one he really likes, and I can't wait to check out, you know, the Wolf of Oaklawn. He's on Rumble as well, and listen to what he has to say. Uh, you know, this is great. I've loved hearing insight from all of you guys in the comments section. I think we're going to be doing a lot of winning today. So don't forget, the Kentucky Derby is going to be this evening. It is, I believe it's at like 6:50 p.m. Eastern, so a little bit late, but I think that's when the horse racing starts. You might want to tune in early, make sure your TVs are already on by at least like 6:30, because you want to see everyone's outfits. That's when the party starts, the celebration. There'll be a lot of people talking. You might want to tune in early to, you know, really see all the different people that are going to be a part of this, and I will be doing that as well, having my little Kentucky Derby party with my 4 roses and my tulips, and of course these fancy hats as well. Good luck today on all of your wagers. We have my best play of the day, that over in the NBA. Of course, we have a lot of baseball totals that I covered with you guys. We're looking at that Yankees run line. We're keeping our eye on the Cubs run line, and a lot of totals. So we have the Kentucky Derby. This is going to be a lot of fun. And just a last thing, because I gave out a lot of plays today, we're talking a lot about all these different things to wager on. Please wager responsibly. Don't spend more money than you can afford to lose. You know, be mindful about your bankroll, and you know, keep everything to a very consistent unit. You know, set a schedule, make sure you're writing down all of your wagers as well, and you know, just be responsible with your gambling and set limits for yourself, because I don't want anyone to come out of this, you know, feeling broke or not having money to put food on a table. That's not the goal here. We're all wagering responsibly. We're all managing our bankroll, and at the end of the day, this should be about having fun and improving our lives, improving our bankrolls, and improving our happiness by winning a lot of wagers, and honestly, in general, having a lot of fun. Good luck today, everyone. I will see you all for the next Sports Betting Illuminated. That will be on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you'll get the notifications. Please leave a thumbs up on your way out. And if you haven't already subscribed to my Substack, it is Ariel Calista. It's where you find my other 2 Substacks other than the Daily Report of the Full Spectrum blog and Relax Saunas. And of course, sign up for my free daily emails by going to arielcalista.com, clicking on that button that says Stay in Touch, and I will bring you all of the game line analysis for all of these sports for today. I will give you my picks of the day and pictures of me every day, and so much more. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and good luck on all of your wagers. Let's do some winning.